one thing you realise after playing games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, when you've been playing them for a while, you understand what type of level of player you are. So, the gameplay we're watching right now was in Naboo. I've been playing for most of the day, just trying to level up my infantry. And you have your good games, you have your bad games. And then there are ones like this where you can't really work out whether it was good or bad. I'm not like most YouTubers who do videos like this. I can't build streaks as well as some of them can. So I have to take the kills where I can, really. Sometimes I'm just sloppy. I mean, this first instance here, I'm going to run into a blind alley essentially where I see a target but I just don't aim well enough. And that's pretty much the story of my ability as a shooter. You know, I've got my gun ready. It might not have been the best one, to be honest. I could have used my rifle to begin with. But at this point I was experimenting. I was trying to use the stun gun or whatever it's called, and I just didn't get my shot off well. I am wondering if it's just how I play, that when I start a map I tend to be a little bit rusty and maybe miss a instant target. I mean, I got blindsided here and it tends to happen a lot. I mean, I get lucky sometimes. I might go on a 3-4 kill streak to begin with, but most of the time I'll probably get one, die, or vice versa, and you just have to take the kills as you come to begin with, and I don't really enjoy that. I'm pretty sure no one would really. I think the key to any game like this is just having a bit of persistence with what you're doing. I mean, as I've said, I was using the flash pistol. I was trying to create some type of play style with it. I mean, I had been mixing up my play with the acid launcher as well during the day, and the flash pistol was just another one I was having a go with. But you can end up, as in that instance, being forced to play poor because you haven't got certain abilities you used to. I mean, I'm used to toughen up, so in that instance I'd have used it before the turret got me. I mean, at this point I went into the LA-80 gunship just because I was looking for a cheap kill. I know that's sad, but I knew I was having a bad start, so I thought if I can just get one kill, it'll make me feel better. And I've got to admit, I'm no good at these things. I've heard some people complaining how, oh, you know, they're easy kills or whatever. I never seem to be able to hit a target with them. So I don't know if it's just me, it could be, but on the other hand, I think they're very hard to actually work out where people are. Again, could just be me. Compared to some of the other alternatives though, Jakku comes to mind. Naboo is a very open map for recovering from a bad run. There's always going to be targets around, so you've always got an opportunity to make amends for a poor start. I feel that is what happens here, in that I go back to bare basics. I just try to focus on the objective, and it does give me some luck in that I'm aware of what I'm looking for. All I've got to do from there is just look out for the targets, really, for the opposition. It does me some good because I've got a clear sight on the objective here. I did miss fire to begin with, but I'm at a good distance as well, so I'm not easily going to be taken out because I'll be able to use my weapon, which I was. I had a bit of good fortune. A teammate took down a droid for me, so I didn't end up dying that time. But it's like I say, sometimes that is just what you need. A teammate helping you out, it can just dig you out of a bad run. So I move on. I can see someone across there. I don't think I get my shot off well there, I'll admit. It just keeps coming back to playing the objective and keeping to bare basics. Don't overcomplicate things, which is what I was doing here at this point. As I got the flash pistol out, I was trying to be clever and stun that heavy. In reality, I should have just waited out, but he came round and just got me. I have used Officer and Assault a lot recently because I seem to have a bit of a pattern where I go between Heavy and Specialist, then Assault and Officer. Just try and level the two classes up each time. Assault is actually my favourite out of the two Assault Officer, but just because of Vanguard, you can actually get forward quicker, and when you're in what feels like a bad rut, it's so good just being able to rush back in and try and get back in the fight. It means you can correct errors you've made. That's at least how it feels. The main downside to Assault is that you do have to be able to take your targets down very fast. I mean, I had 2v1 here. If I'd got Officer, I could have used Disruption, distracted one of them, but as it turned out, I had to just fire at who was ever nearest and just hope that I could take them down before dying myself, which I didn't even do. So it's like I say, you do need a bit of luck. There, I did run into a bad situation, but in my opinion, it was with good intentions. I try and pick up that, but they beat me to it. But again, I think, alright, they've got the objective, I'll go and try and take out a few opposition players, just see if I can clear the way for them. In areas like this, it's where the assault does come in good, because I got a little bit lucky with my smart ion grenade there, but there's just good vantage points for shooting at people from mid to long range. So it is good for that. If you are able to find a good vantage point, you can get some good kills. Another reason though that I've been preferring to assault to officer is the fact that I feel assault is actually better for taking down vehicles. I have got the smart ion grenade, but also I feel like their weapons are better suited for taking down the tanks or other armour vehicles that spawn in maps. Obviously it's not always the case, but it is good just for trying to clear the way of vehicles, because they can tear your team apart if you aren't looking out for it. Going back to what I've been saying all along though, it's just the idea of playing basics. I'm trying to clear the way for anyone who's trying to shoot the objective, and in doing so I'm actually getting a pretty good kill streak. Well, by my standards anyway. I see people going on about 10, 20, 30 kills with infantry, and I'm thinking to myself, 7, I'm doing alright here. So yeah, I'm happy with how I'm doing. I've got out of the little rut I was in, and I actually, without knowing my score off by heart, I would say my kill to death ratio by now is actually getting close to 1 to 1. When I'm judging my own success in shooters, it is kill to death streaks. I know you can look at playing the objective, and I have got another video lined up where I do have a terrible KD ratio, but I do play the objective well in my opinion. And sometimes you do just need that, someone who's willing to play the objective but sacrifice kill to death to do it. And in this instance I feel like I'm actually doing both. It's partly because the clones are on the defence, so you have to play defensively anyway by just taking out anyone you can see. But by sticking close to the objectives, which in this case are the ion disruptors, it also means that you're getting close to opponents, and therefore you're getting your points for defending, but you're also getting your KD up. So it is possible to do both, but I also believe it's possible to do good defensive work without actually getting the rewards for it. Unlike say Jakku, where you have snipers taking out snipers, which in a sense is helping the objective because you aren't having infantry being shot down trying to get to the objectives, here it is more close quarters combat, so there is always a sense of you go to where you need to be, you will find someone who you will get a kill for. So it's a very strange way of thinking about it, but it is a beneficial way as well, because you just know that go to the right place and you will get a reward for it. This just now is a prime example. I knew where the objective starts, or where the ion disruptors usually spawn, so I just go there and think, right, the droids will be there. And as it turns out, I get a 3 kill streak. Maybe I should have got a little higher. Anyway, it's time for a hero, and I went for Yoda because I've been hearing rave reviews from players who pick him on defensive maps and then use him to tank up teammates. And I wanted to try this idea out, so obviously I was going to attack with him as well. You don't get a hero and just say, right, I'm going to play completely defensive with him. But I was curious if I could beef up my other teammates and help them take down the opposition. It's an interesting idea, but I'm not exactly sure how well I did in that overall. Soon find out. Playing with Yoda reminds me of playing with Maul, in that you've got to keep moving with him. You can't stand still and just hope that you'll be able to deflect shots, because even though his unleash ability is quite good, it's still not reliable. So my belief is just keep going, keep moving. In this instance I do use unleash, but I follow it up with the dash strike and it takes out the heavy. But you do need to just keep moving. I think I actually dawdled it here on this specialist. I think I was a bit annoyed I didn't take him down the first time. But again, I keep to my idea, just keep moving, keep taking down individuals, otherwise you're just going to get shot down by a heavy who's just lucky and spotted you across the map. But we're now at the point that I actually picked him for, which is when we're inside the palace. You know, he is good in other areas, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see what it'd be like when I've got a group of infantry of my own and I could, say, boost 10 players at once. I don't think I actually did something like that, but I was hoping it would be a good tactic just for defending. So I'd keep to my idea again, you know, I'm just moving about, I'm not sticking to one place. But I'm just trying to see where the opposition are and if I can just pick individuals off who are just causing teammates trouble. And, you know, that's the general gist. I mean, obviously I used that unleash a minute ago. I keep darting between the two areas just to see if there's a hallway that is in trouble. I can see across there that one is, so I do go across. I boost a ray just to see if that'll help her. It seems to do some good because I'm able to get a Bosk as well. It's nice just being able to contribute, even if it isn't a direct assist or kill when taking down villains. You've got to take them out. I think Bosk is brilliant on this map, even though I obviously couldn't play him. He's just brilliant for using in these narrow hallways. You can set your traps if you're on the attack, or you can use the gas to push people back. Complete side trap, but I couldn't help but love Bosk here. Anyway, going back to the Yoda gameplay, I'm still darting about, but it's actually very tricky at this point to get kills. I'm trying to get in there, but the trouble is you've got the turrets that'll just soak up all my unleash ability, or you've got too many infantry that I can't take on my own. This is why part of my problem is with heroes. I disagree with having them and not trying to use them offensively as well as defensively. So even though I feel like I'm doing a job with the presence ability and trying to buff my teammates, I'm not contributing enough, I'm not helping to defend the objective well enough. So I do push myself out there a little bit more than I should. There's a Phasma in here and really I should have backed off straight away. But instead I think, right, I'll try and take her on, just try and push them back even further. Instead I start biting off more than I can chew, to be honest. So as you can see, I do manage to take down, get close to Phasma, but then Vader just rips me apart. I didn't stand a chance. At this point I recognise it's going to be highly unlikely I can pick a hero again, so I'll just go back to Assault, I think. Go back to basics, see if we can build up some battle points. At the very least I might be able to get an Enforcer or two for the final stage. Anyone who's played Naboo, it's not impossible by any means, but it's very rare you actually defend the 2 points here. Mainly because you've got the heroes at this point, like Vader there, you just get chopped down as infantry, so it's not impossible again, but you do tend to think at this point, right, keep building up your points, just get ready for the final phase, which is what happens on this game. I don't know if it's just me though, but whenever I have a hero, I tend to have a bit of a backslide after. Even if you're trying to keep a back to basics mentality, you can have a moment where you just struggle to get a grip back in the game. It's as if you suddenly forget what playing as infantry is like, which is bizarre because, as I say, I was playing the game all day, so it's not as if you suddenly forget. But it's as if you do just need a working back in period where you maybe take a few deaths, you don't get many kills, but you sort of find your groove again. In this instance, knowing that the final objective had gone as soon as I spawned, it does give you a slight sense of freedom in that you immediately know what you've got to do. I've got 100, the opposition team have got 100 tickets, I've got a clear line of sight on one door. I'll admit, I do realise momentarily that I can get that one kill, or at least assist, but I know that they aren't coming there. I do realise a bit late that they're all coming on the left because that's where they were all attacking a moment ago. It does give me a chance to get a few shots off at Vader. I think I might even get a few shots off at the droid, but I do get flanked quite poorly here. Considering I wanted to treat this video as a self-assessment of sorts to analyse my own gameplay, I think the one thing I can take out of this is that I didn't attack well enough when I had opportunities. I might have had very small kill streaks, but when I had Yoda, for example, I was trying to do a defensive job by boosting my allies, but I didn't do enough with Yoda to defend the attack, as it were. It was only at the end, but when I actually got caught, that I was actually going on the attack. I was more playing as a sweeper rather than a runner behind the back line, as it were. As far as defending the third phase, as infantry, it's very tricky to actually get involved at this point because the opposition are pretty much encamped on the objective, and you've got to hope that you can outflank them a little bit and maybe just sneak in behind. I do that here. I managed to get a few of them behind there. I find a mole, but I actually think I annoy him. I just see him coming for me straight away and I think I'm dead. So you have to try things like that, but it's it doesn't usually end well, it's got to be said. As tactics go, I prefer that approach where, in this instance, I'm using Vanguard. I'd rather push out and do nothing than try and camp in the doorway and take pot shots at enemies that you've just got no clue where they are. I mean, there I had a little bit of fortune. Kylo could have got me with his pull, but I'm going to say he didn't kill me with that. He just pretty much set me up for an opponent, for one of his teammates. But it's a case of just keep going out there and keep trying to unsettle things, because as it stands, the objective still isn't being contested. So, well, it's just starting, but the idea is you've got 68 tickets. It is still possible at this point to defend it. You just need to hold the line, and it's only when the line breaks that you know the mission's failing. Going back to what I just said about people camping in doorways, though, on this map I don't understand that logic, because if anything, you're setting yourself up for someone to, like Maul, to come in and just tear you apart. Because, I mean, just look here, we've got a battle droid just thinking, alright, I'll just wander in and try and kill a few of you. And I know you might get a few kills camping in the doorway, ducking back into cover, but you aren't actually affecting the objective. You know, it's like here, even though I'm putting myself at risk, I do get defending points. And you're thinking, that just helps a little bit. Me standing there, it did out contest. It's small things, but it does make you wonder why people do stand in doorways. Because at this point, I'm looking at the objective and we're losing. We've got 4 or 5 on, so it's going to go at some rate at this point. Why are people still by the doorways? It just sounds like I'm berating people over something silly, but they had a chance. They could have pushed out and thought, right, I know I'm going to lose a life here, but let's just see if I can get on the objective and stop it from going. But they'd rather just stand in this little area and take pot shots. I mean, I had to do it there, I'll admit, but that was just because I saw 2 heroes and I thought, I'm not walking straight into that. But it's those who have the sentries as heavies. I think, push out a little. You've got such a heavy weapon and you can take a bit of damage. Go out there and just try and push them a little. And they don't. But as you can see, the objective is lost, and that's the end of the map. But I can thank you for watching and for listening to my rants and raves and this supposed analysis of my gameplay. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to gain new subscribers semi-regularly just to build a small gaming community of people who like a variety of games. That way I can differentiate the games that I put on my channel just to gain a different audience, or a wider variety of audience. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. I'll see you another time. Thank you. Bye.